In this video, we are going to be solving systems of linear equations by graphing. So it's important to know that a solution to a system of equations, when we're looking at it graphically, is the point that the lines intersect. So if we are looking at these two graphs below, the solution to the system is the point that the two lines intersect. So for this first system, the solution is 0, -2. And for the second system, the solution is 1, 3. Recall that if we were to substitute the point 0, -2 into both equations, this point would make both equations true. In order to graph the system, ideally we'd like the equations in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where b is your y-intercept and m is your slope. Before we graph these, we want to ensure that the form is y equals mx plus b and that we can recognize what our slope and our y-intercept is. So from the first equation, I can see y is by itself. Although I don't see a number in front of the x, I know that it's a 1. So the slope is 1 over 1, and the y-intercept is 0, 2. So I'll plot my point at 2 on the y-axis, and my slope tells me to count up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Okay. When we graphed before, we only made you do a couple of points. When we do systems, we want to graph the entire line across the coordinate plane so that we can make sure that we see the intersection point. So not only am I going to go up 1 and right 1, I'm also going to go down 1 and left 1 to be sure I'm covering the entire graph. Okay, there's our first line. The second line I'm going to do in blue. I see the slope in front of the x value, so the slope is 3. The y-intercept is 0, -2. So I'm going to plot -2 first on the y-axis. A slope of 3 is like 3 over 1, which tells us to go up 3 and right 1. I'm going to keep counting up 3 and right 1 until I see the intersection point. So the lines did cross, and the point at which the lines intersect is our solution to the system, which is 2, 4. Now occasionally, our equations will not be written in slope-intercept form. So for the first one, we're lucky that it is in slope-intercept form. I can see my slope, the number in front of the x is 2, or 2 over 1. My y-intercept is 4. So I'm going to go up to 4 on the y-axis and plot my point. And then my slope tells me to go up 2 and to the right 1. Again, I want to cover enough of the graph that when I put my next line on the graph, I can clearly see where the lines intersect. Okay, now the problem with the next line is that you can see that y is not by itself. In order to get this line into y equals mx plus b, I would have to add the x to the other side. So y equals 2 plus x. This is the same as saying y equals x plus 2, so whichever way you want to write it. But to find the slope, we want to be sure that we look in front of the x value, which tells me the slope is 1. And we want to look at the y-intercept, which is the b value, or 2. So I'm going to plot my y-intercept at 0, 2 on the y-axis, and then I can count up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. You might notice that when I go up 1, right 1, I'm not going to intersect the red line. But if I go down 1 and left 1, I will find my intersection point rather quickly. So our solution to the system is the point that the lines intersect, and that is the point -2, 0.